Hello Internet, how you guys doing? Yes, I'm back. And you know, when it comes to Twitter, I have to admit, I really don't use it all that often, and it's for various reasons. I mean, personally, I don't tweet that much, mainly because I don't really have that many people following, so no point. And I really don't watch and follow other people's tweets, and mainly because of the fact that I really don't have the time to do that, and I don't really get that interested. Plus, I have a bit of hyperactivity, and that makes it a little difficult to read a lot, especially when it's something that I'm not fully interested in. Otherwise, I get a little distracted, and then I start wandering off to La La Land. But anyways, there's one particular tweet that I am kind of interested in talking about right now, and you can't figure it out by the title of this video. It has to do with one voice actor, Barbara Dunkelman. See, back in the late of April, she sort of released a tweet that kind of sparked a little controversy with the Ruby community. And to be honest, I want to talk about it for a particular reason, but before I get into that, to refresh some of you, or to show some of you that don't know don't know what her tweet is, I'm going to read you for just a second. Basically, this had to do when there were certain critics that were, well, becoming a little overly spiteful towards the show. And she kind of came out saying, hey, it's a friendly reminder, if you don't like the show, don't have to watch it and all that. Somebody said, well, you know, critics do have to watch it and do have to criticize it because that is sort of their job. And she responded with this: why waste your time? When I don't like a show, I stop watching it. If someone reaches out, initiates a conversation to me to ask why I don't like it, I'll answer and explain to that person. I don't waste my time trying to get people to stop watching something they enjoy. And it's an interesting little tweet because it basically just says, if you don't like Ruby, don't watch it. And a lot of people got a very suspicious about it, if I have to say, mainly because of the fact that a little while ago there was a similar tweet that was released for a particular video game called Battlefield 5. I don't know if you guys play that. To be honest, I'm more of an Xbox guy, and what I mean by Xbox is I still only have an Xbox 360. I don't have any modern console right now. I'm poor, okay? I thought my videos would have explained that. But anyways, basically, the producer of that, producer of that game kind of said something very similar. Now, if you don't know what the Battlefield 5 series is, what the Battlefield series is, it's basically they're just a shooter game. It's a first-person shooter that has to do with a more realistic take on the concept. That is to say, they try to have certain realistic, concepts when it comes to the actual gameplay, but more importantly, when it comes to their, campaign modes. I know this sounds a little weird because we're trying to get rid of campaign modes for some dumb reason, but when it comes to the single player mode, they try to be as historically realistic as possible, which is kind of nice because some people do enjoy that, especially when it comes to a story-focused game. And that's generally what Battlefield was. But the problem was that when it came to Battlefield 5, they started getting off the beaten track. Mainly, they had one of their characters come out in the trailer that was a female, not only a female in World War II, but a crippled female. She was missing an arm. And to be honest, that's historically inaccurate in a very large degree. First of all, she's a girl. Generally, we try to keep women out of war because, well, we want to protect them. It's just a natural urge of men. Sorry about that, ladies. Nothing offensive. We're just trying to be nice to you. Thought you would have taken that. But more importantly, she is crippled. Why would you have a soldier who only has one arm fighting on your cause? Now that could have been a simple fix right there. They could have just said, sorry guys, we're trying to get a little less historically accurate in order to, tell a particular interesting story. She's, maybe she lost her arm and she's trying to get back at them Nazis. She's trying to save her country or whatever that may be. And that could have easily saved Battlefield 5, but that's not what the producer did. No, he came out and said, hey guys, if you don't like us having a woman in it, then don't buy it. Which is one of the stupidest things you can say about any product. Listen, show like Ruby, they want you to watch it. Watch it, they get some revenue with from ads, or you just support the show through merchandise, whatever. They want you to watch it. Same thing with the game. They want you to pay for it so that you can play it, so that they can make some money. And well, as you might have guessed, Battlefield 5 sales tanked And I mean tanked like, I think it was like 2 weeks after the game was released. They had to cut the price in half. That's something you usually don't see until a year later, not 2 weeks. So a lot of people were very nervous when Barbara said this very similar thing. But to be honest, I don't think Barbara was saying that. If you read her comment very carefully, it's very clear what she was trying to talk about. She was talking about certain critics. Now, when it comes to critics of particular shows, let's just say RWBY in general right now, there are, I think, 2 important categories out there that we need to focus on. The first one is, of course, general critics like myself, which we really don't care that much. We might enjoy the show, we may not like it, but we don't care. We're trying to be as objective as possible, where we'll point out things that we believe are bad, we'll explain why they're bad, and occasionally, depending on who you are, they'll try to point out ways in which they could have done it better. Why? Because we're trying to inspire, okay? We're trying to inspire the original creators to do better next time, and we're trying to inspire any other creator out there to learn from this mistake in order to create a better show. That's all we really care about, okay? And to be honest, there's quite a few good reviewers out there. I wouldn't really point at myself all that much, don't want to toot my own horn, but there are others out there that we've seen become very popular. Just in the RWBY community, I would have to say there are some like Hero High, there is, of course, this guy called, I think his name is Eruption Thing. I've seen a few of his videos, they're kind of interesting. Then we have, sadly he's no longer making videos, but he's made some videos in the past and they're pretty good. Jack the One Man Band, you might have noticed me name drop him a few times, and there are several others out there right now. I can't really name them all, mainly because there are just so many. The RWBY community is very big, and to be honest, they all do a very good job. Yes, some of them are biased in one way or another, and that's fine. I'm biased too, and I'm perfectly fine to say that. We just try to take our bias out of there just for a little while, understand whether or not we don't like it doesn't mean it's good or bad. There is a certain objective standards when it comes to art like this. But I don't think that's who Barbara was talking about. As some people were saying, or trying to point out that, well, you realize you're lumping these critics in as well. She did, of course, then add to her comment the basic obvious of what she was saying, is that the other critics out there, the second kind, the ones that really don't care about the show, don't care about the community, they're just making a spiteful video. Why? Simple! Because they want to get views, okay? As CinemaSins, as the Nostalgia Critic, as the Amy Gaming Nerd, and so many out there have shown us, being very negative to a game, to a show, to film, to books, to pretty much anything out there can generally get you a lot of views. Now, in some cases, especially with the ones I just named, they're doing what is called satire. That is to say, they're being overly negative and picky, mainly because of the fact that they're just trying to have some fun. They're just trying to create some humor, and sadly in humors, the main joke is that somebody's gotta get hurt. And sometimes that means the person, or more importantly, that sometimes that means the object that they're criticizing. And when it comes to those particular satires, I don't think no one really cares. For the most part, yes, we'll get a little, okay, you're being a little picky right now, but we understand that it's satire, and we understand it's made for comedy, so we really don't mind it. It's not real criticism, but they do make some good points, and you have to understand it. For instance, an interesting video just came out recently from a guy named Jello Apocalypse. Now, if you've seen his videos in the past, they're pretty good, and he created one of RWBY called So This Is Basically RWBY. And I watched it myself, and I have to say, he made a lot of real negative criticisms towards the show. Quite a few of them were very accurate, and I enjoyed the video immensely. Which is kind of funny because Jello did get a little political in the past, mainly with the whole, Trump got voted for president, and so he's like, we gotta get this guy impeached and everything. Of course, you go down that rabbit hole and start, being very negative towards his fans and his subscribers, saying that he didn't care if they unsubscribed, basically saying that he didn't care about his subscribers, about his fans. So I stopped watching it for a while. But then I watched this, and I can understand when you make good art, and I can separate the art from the artist. So he made a decent video. Yes, it was clearly satire, but some people didn't get that. And it's understandable why, because there are some critics out there that just make videos, especially on RWBY, because RWBY's popular right now, that just make them so that they can be mean to them, so that they can pretty much be spiteful to the community that, well, let's just say, has been built up pretty nicely over the couple of years. And to be honest, it's, yes, kind of a downer, and I can understand why Barbara was making that little tweet, basically saying, listen guys, if you don't like the show and you're trying to be hateful of it, please don't aim your videos towards the community. The community is trying to enjoy the show. But interesting thing about what Barbara said is that it goes without saying. If you don't like something, don't watch it. It's basic common sense. I mean, there's a ton of shows and movies that I don't like, and whether or not they're popular or not, I don't watch it. I may watch it once just to get a general opinion on it, because that's the only way you can really have your own personal opinion on it, is by watching it. But after that, I'm done. I won't go and watch it again. That's the end of the story. However, I do admit there are some very negative critics out there, and as many have seen with my Volume 4 review, there have been people who have worried that I'm going to get very negative and critical about it. To be honest, I don't care. I still love RWBY. I enjoy watching the shows, and, well, there's been rumors that they want to make movies about RWBY, and I think that you should wait until the show is actually completed. But to be honest, I would still enjoy watching them. Mainly because, well, it's good. It's not great. There are many, many problems with it. I mean, you guys have seen me complain immensely about the story, and there are certain characters that just don't meet the bill. But at the end of the day, it's generally good. And whether or not you like something doesn't matter on whether or not it's good or bad. There are several movies that are bad that you can enjoy, and there are several movies that are good that you don't really want to watch. That's fine. But when it came down to Barbara's post, I have to admit, it was a little... well, it was well-meaning, but was poorly timed, and more importantly, poorly worded. She should have just clearly stated that, hey, listen guys, there's some very negative people out there that just want to ruin your fun because, of course, they want to make a couple bucks off the views that they're likely going to get because this is a, well, kind of video that is going to attract a lot of people. Again, negative feedback. But when it comes down to it, I don't think she was aiming any of that towards the actual critics, towards critics that want to see it do better. Because that's what a good critic is. We're not the people who, criticize and are very negative. No, we're the people who want to see the shows be at their very best. And the only way that can happen is if the next season, another show, realizes the certain mistakes that were made and tries to do better. As seen with Volume 5 and Volume 6, they tried to do that. In some cases, I'll have to admit, the seasons were, in RWBY's case at the very least, the seasons were what you would call the seasons of compromise. Some of the compromise, okay, most of the compromise, not. They try to please certain fans, and of course, we get what we get right now. And of course, there's going to be a lot of negative towards it. That's why I don't really pay attention to that much. Why I don't really pay attention to many tweets. Mainly because you're always going to get those shouters who just shout about the show. No matter what is happening, they just... Now, sometimes that can be good, sometimes it can be bad, mostly bad. But at the end of the day, they just shout. And they're going to eventually fade away. The true critics are going to stay, and their criticisms are going to stay as well, because they have a point. So, I have to say, when it comes down to the end of the day, when it comes down to the particular critics of RWBY, the ones that you don't like, don't watch. Guess what? Every critic out there has an opinion. That's all we do, is share our opinions. If you don't agree with it, don't. But I will have to warn you, if you decide to share that you don't agree with it, you better back up your reasoning for it. Because we're going to back up ours. And that's fine. Share your opinions. I love it when you guys share your opinions on my videos. Sometimes I do make some mistakes and you guys say so, and I'm glad when you put them out, because that helps me to grow. Occasionally I won't agree on some of them, and that's fine. You guys make some interesting reasoning points, and so do I. But we're only going to be able to do that if we share it. So, by Barbara making this post, while it's understandable why she did it, it's also kind of stupid that she had to do it. Or more importantly, that she thought she had to do it. Because my advice in dealing with these particular critics is really simple. Don't watch their stuff. It sounds kind of weird, but yeah, that's about it. If you don't watch their stuff, well, they'll get less attention and it won't be worth making those kind of videos. And if you do watch their stuff, call them out on it. Be careful, be very kind, lest you become what they are, but call them out on it. Explain why they're wrong and be very gentle when you're wording how you phrase it. Because just like this, her meaning is not bad. How it came out and how people may take it may be in the more negative. It's one of the reasons why, again, I don't tweet. I prefer to talk like this. Because you guys can tell through my tone of voice and through the emphasis I put on certain words what I technically mean when I say certain things. So, at the end of the day, there's three things I want to have you guys take away from this. The first and more important thing is to be very careful when you read something somebody has posted because it may have a meaning more important behind it. And even if it has something that you don't like, well, no need to overreact, right? The second thing I would have to say is when it comes to certain critics out there, again, if you don't like their opinions, simply say so. Be gentle and be kind. There's no point in which we have to pretty much debase ourselves to the point where we're just monkeys throwing out poop, alright? And the final thing I would have to say is in all that you do and create, go forth and inspire. That's what we critics try to do. We try to inspire you to do better. And to be honest, sometimes it works. Because of people criticizing Volume 4 for how it turned out, Volume 5 started to have pretty decent fights. Because of how people were criticizing that the story was basically absent. The story started to take more prominence. And it's because of us criticizing that Rooster Teeth is eventually going to realize that certain things that they're doing probably aren't for the best. But the only way that they can get that is if you criticize with kindness. As I say, praise what they do, but hold them accountable for what is wrong. It's the only way we can keep it to grow. Because to be honest, I do want to see RWBY finished. And I want to see it finished to its best degree. It can only happen if there are critics out there who are willing to say so. So you guys take care. This has been one of my vlogs. I hope you're all doing well. Toodles!